All right, so this Diddy trial is getting wild, gang. They had Kid Cudi come in and testify. He actually showed up. I believe tomorrow they're gonna start back again after the Memorial Day weekend with I believe her name is Capricorn Clark, and I believe she was a friend of Kid Cudi, or she was a close associate of Kid Cudi, Cassie, and Diddy. So that's going to be interesting to see if she corroborates Kid Cudi's story. That he said that she was actually the one who warned him that Diddy and her were at his house, and that she and Diddy made her come to his house. So we're gonna see if she corroborates that story. Um, Last week they actually had Diddy's former executive assistant George Kaplan testify, and he was Diddy's assistant from 2013 to 2015. And to my recollection, as far as the reports are saying, they didn't really get into anything in regards to racketeering or sex trafficking specifically. It was more of him witnessing certain events in which Diddy got into it with Cassie. Like one time they were all on a jet plane and everyone heard a loud bang or a crashing noise. And when they turned around, they saw Diddy standing over Cassie holding a whiskey bottle. And Cassie was on her back with her legs up, kind of like in a defensive motion, as if trying to create distance between them. And basically, nobody did anything. Everybody was just looking like, and nobody moved. And I guess George, later felt bad about that because nobody did anything. I guess at one point, Diddy had left to another part of the plane and told Cassie to stay. Nobody went to go check on her after Diddy left. So it was just this atmosphere of not knowing, I guess, what to do or being too scared to really do anything. There was another incident in which George witnessed, I guess, Diddy throwing apples, or whether they were real apples or fake apples is in question right now. But I guess he was throwing apples at another girlfriend, that a girl that wasn't Cassie. So I guess he had felt really uncomfortable with that incident. And also another incident in which Diddy called him to his room at his house, and he wanted George to go get some, I guess, witch hazel, and he said that witch hazel can reduce swelling. And then when Diddy opened the door, he saw Cassie in Diddy's bed holding her eye, and I guess there was some swelling and some bruising there. So those were some incidents that I guess he had felt really uncomfortable with, so uncomfortable that he actually told Diddy's chief of staff, I forgot her name at this point, but he had told her basically that he doesn't want to be a part of this anymore. He doesn't want to be the cleanup guy because, that's what his job was, to go clean up Diddy's messes, whether that be, you know, uh, getting witch hazel or prescription medications. He was also the literal cleanup guy. He would clean up after Diddy and Cassie, their freak offs, which when you think about it, it's like, damn, that was his job. But they paid him, I guess, $125,000 a year to do this. And I guess he would clean up after the freak offs, because they would leave bottles of Astroglide and baby oil all over the room and other stuff that I dare not say on this video. But you can use your imagination to figure that out. After freak offs, what do you think is left over? You know what I'm saying? And I guess they were scared that hotel workers would, the cleanup, the housekeeping would come in there and see all these bottles of baby oil and whatever condoms and whatever else in there and decide to make a story out of it or get a quick buck, or you know what I'm saying? So he would have to clean up after all this stuff. He would be in charge of stocking all the freak off supplies as well as toiletries for Diddy's bathrooms and all this other stuff. Occasionally he would handle money, and they would get into what he would actually pay for, whether it would be with the credit card, like a personal credit card or a company card, and that kind of stuff. But that was pretty much everything that I got from uh, George Kaplan's testimony. Like I said, it more or less went into incidents of abuse between Diddy and Cassie, and ultimately that's why he decided to leave. Um, he had told Diddy's chief of staff about the incident on the jet, as well as the apple throwing incident. He said that that was the final straw for him. He didn't want to be a part of that anymore. But interestingly enough, he had told Diddy that his dad was sick, and that was the reason for him leaving. So you know, all in all, who wants to stay in that kind of environment? I wouldn't want to stay there. But I don't think there's any really I don't think there was any really any love lost between them. There was a couple of times where they nodded at each other, Diddy and George. One time where he described that he would send Diddy birthday messages on occasion, text messages, I guess, after everything, after he had left. And I guess when he was done testifying, he got up and he kind of looked at Diddy and smiled or whatever. They kind of smiled at each other. So, or, I think they nodded at each other. I think they smiled at each other in regards to the birthday messages. But, there's no love lost between them. Um, I don't think it really proved anything in regards to racketeering or, uh, sex trafficking or anything like that. More or less just abuse between Diddy and Cassie. But that's what I got from it, folks. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section. If there's anything I left out, please let me know. Let everybody know. Interestingly enough, with that whole situation, George didn't even want to testify. He didn't want to, and that's how I know like there's probably no love lost between them. Like he didn't even want to testify against Diddy. He was going to plead the fifth, but the government came in and said, "We're going to give you immunity, and now you have to testify because you got immunity now. Nothing you can say can be held against you. You straight, you good. Tell us everything." So I think he did his best to not paint Diddy so bad that he gets him hemmed up, but at the same time, he had to be 100% truthful about what he saw and what he encountered. So, like I said, leave me your thoughts in the comment section and all that jazz. Until next time, love, peace, and light. Love more than you hate. This whole Diddy thing is just wild, and tomorrow is probably going to get even wilder. I'm going to be paying attention. Let me know if y'all going to be paying attention because this is it's heating up. It's boiling over. I don't know, man. Diddy may be cooked. Let me know in the comment section. Is Diddy cooked? Is Diddy cooked? I think he's cooked. All right, y'all. Peace.